Welcome, welcome, welcome to Google and You, updates to use in the school year 2022. Can you imagine we're at 2022? That seems like so far in the future, just a few years ago, but we're here. And we need to know, what is Google planning? What are the updates? Like I've been saying through all the other webinars, Joy is going to be here with us today to give us all of these amazing updates. And she did the same thing last year. And I swear, I was like, I know all the updates. I did not, people. I did not. So I'm so happy for this session. I am Dr. Desiree Alexander. I'm the founder, CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting. And these are all of the different ways that you can get to me. If you're like, Desiree, where's the resource? I'm watching this on YouTube. Well, on YouTube, you will look right under the video and in the description, and you will find the resource for today. So definitely check that out. So what is coming up next? Next Saturday, October 1st, is the Padlet Back to School webinar series done by... So there's two sessions, Padlet 101 and Templates in Padlet. And you see that there are both offered twice. So you can just choose which time you want to come. You're like, I don't want to wake up early. I want to go later. It's up to you. But the registration link is there. And of course, all the things I'm talking about right now can be found at edalex.net/events. Then we have children of single parents, our overlooked stakeholders. Eric is going to come and tell us about his situation and his experience with being a suddenly single parent and how we can make sure to give our children of single parents support. Then we have on October 22nd, the Tcca conference in Houston, Texas. It is in person. It is lovely and wonderful. One of my favorite conferences. It's free. So if you can get down to Houston, Texas, make sure that you register for this. Then we have Organizing Your Professional Projects by November 5th. And what this is how do you get organized when you want to do all of these kind of stuff, like trainings and meetings and school programs and conferences and books and all this kind of stuff? How do you just get organized and not drive yourself crazy? Then we have free tools with endless possibilities on November 12th with the lovely Rochelle. And then we have AI in education with Rochelle. Again, we had to change the date. So now she's back to back. So November 19th, she's going to come and talk about AI in education. So we also are going to, of course, have conferences coming up next, the spring semester. Tcca is one of the first ones, January 30th through February 2nd, and it's still being planned and all that good stuff, but registration is open. So you can go and register for that if you wish. All the other webinars that we have coming up will be promoted a little bit later because we are still planning out all of the details. So, we always have our self-paced online classes that you can take. Is mostly test prep at this time. So Google Level 1, Level 2 test prep, SLLA for educational leadership test prep, all that good stuff. But it is there for you. And then I need everybody to tell me what you want to learn in 2023. So go ahead and fill out that Google form to tell me what you want to learn. And if you want to present something, tell me that too. Some of our webinars come directly from this because people go, hey, can you tell us about this? I'm like, I can't, but I can find somebody to do it. So some of our webinars come directly from people saying, I want to learn about this. And we've gotten a lot of amazing presenters from people saying, I want to present. So help yourself. Woo! I'm so excited. So we are going to go ahead and get started with Google and You for 2022. Hey, that rhymes. Google and You for 2022. I don't know what kind of beat I just put on it, but it rhymes. It rhymes.
I tried, Dr. Alexander. I really tried. I was trying to impress you this morning with my title.
I love it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm so happy to be here. You have no idea. And we're going to get into this presentation. Dr. Alexander is so patient with me, and I'm so excited that she gave me this opportunity to present to you all. Before I get started, I just want to explain that in the resources, you should have gotten this quick link document that looks like this. With this document, you can kind of find a link to everything you might need, like my email, LinkedIn, but most importantly, if you would like to follow along, here's a PDF of the presentation, or you can click on this link right here and you'll be able to follow along right with me. So before I even get started, I just want to make sure that you understand this, the quick link or the resource. If you want to follow along with the PDF, click this. If you would like to follow along live, just click this bit.ly link, and you can do that. Let's get started. I love Google. I love updates, and I can't wait to share them with you. All right, so the name of this presentation is Google and You, Updates to Use in School Year 22. Let me tell you just a little bit about me. My name is Joy Blake. I'm the math curriculum designer for Chicago Public Schools. Prior to that role, I was an instructional technology specialist, and that's how I met the wonderful Dr. Alexander. She did some Google certification boot camps for all our teachers in our district, and she was so great. And so that's how we connected. In the past, I also have worked as a STEM specialist, math and science teacher, and I've been a teacher since 2005, but I've been using Google and G Suite within my classroom since 2014. I really love Google. I think it's a very innovative and intuitive an intuitive like program. So I really like sharing it with others. So as you can see, I'm a Google certified trainer. I have my own educational consulting business called Blake Basics. You can click on this and head to my website. I'm a Screencast coach, a Pear Deck certified coach, and I'm also an Apple teacher. And here's my Twitter handle. And again, throughout the presentation, if for some reason you missed the quick link there's the bit.ly will be on some of the slides for you just to quickly follow along with us. All right, so now let's get into our learner objectives. So our goals for today is that learners will be able to gain an understanding of recent Google product updates. Secondly, learners will discover tips and tricks on how to use these updates within their classroom. I can't wait to share the tech joy with you. Get it? Tech joy. My name is Joy, but let's get going. Anyway, so for Blake Basics, I always like to talk about, when you come to one of my presentations, what you're going to see, how you're going to use it, and why I know it works. First of all, today you're going to see me, of course, like going through the presentation, but you also are going to see a lot of demos. If for some reason you're like, wow, she went too fast, like I don't know what she said, don't worry, like I will take pauses between sections for questions, and then I always stay after at the end to answer any questions or to redo a demo. If you're like, can you show that again? I will show it. So that's what you're going to see. How you can use it, you can use this in your classroom, in your personal life, in your professional life. These updates, you can use them in so many ways, and I definitely use them in all these ways, and that's why I know it works. Every update and little random tip or trick that I'm going to share with you today, I use. So I have tried to pick the ones that I think are like, wow, this was a smart update, this is a smart change, and it makes my life easier. So this is why I know it works, because every update I literally use. So let's get into the agenda so you know what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about the Google Meet updates, Google Doc updates, Google Sheets updates, Google Slides updates, Google Forms, Google Classroom updates, and there's a few bonuses in there. Like I'm also going to talk about Google Calendar, Gmail, and Google Drive, but they have like a smaller part, so I kind of didn't include them on here. The only update I'm not going to cover today is the Screencast app on Chrome OS. If you are interested in learning like, wow, how can I screencast, which basically means like if you have like your phone and you download the app, the Screencast app, you can like cast what's on your phone to like your computer or to like a smart board. And then if your computer is hooked to like a smart board, it will like project. So I'm not going to cover that, but that is an update that's pretty cool. Also, if you're like, wow, I love what she was talking about, but I would like to hear this live and direct from Google, please make sure to go click on this link. It'll take you to the Anywhere School. This is a free event that Google does literally every summer, usually in like June or July. And that's when they talk about like new updates that are coming up or coming down the pipeline. So that's the Anywhere School. But you can watch the recording of it by clicking this link. It's on YouTube. All right. Now you might be saying, how does she know about all these updates? Like, I know she's a Google certified trainer, but like, how does she discover this? Anybody really can discover new updates within Google. That's one thing that I really like. And basically, if you're within any Google product, if you look for this question mark icon that you see here, that question mark, when you click on it, will show you like open up to updates, or if you want to report an issue, or like if you're like, I wish Google Classroom had a record feature. You can also like request feedback, and surprisingly, Google really does read your feedback. And then if you need help using something or you're stuck, that's where you can find it. So I'm just going to demo that for you in a couple of products. Now, within some products like Google Slides and Google Sheets, they don't have the question mark. Instead, they have, first let me turn on my cute cursor. We all need a cute cursor in our lives. Let me turn mine on. Hold on. Okay, so you can see what I'm pointing at. That's all. Okay, so anyways, if we go to this help icon, that's right, or this help thing in a toolbar, that is also where you can get help, training, but updates. Like if I click on updates, it's going to tell me all the updates within Google Slide. I can see when they came out, bow, bing, boom, and I can like learn about it. If I go, I'm going to quickly just demo it for you in every product, because I feel like people should like learn about, know about this and know where to locate it. But if I'm in Sheets, there again, there's a help icon, and I can get training if you want to learn more about Sheets and learn about updates. If I go to my classroom, within Google Classroom, this is where typically you're going to find it. That's where the question is that I was referring to earlier. So if you see that question mark, what's new, you can report an issue, etc. So that's basically the case. I mean, I can go nonstop because I just like doing this, but if you go in every Google product, you can see, like, just look for that question mark, like in Calendar, bow, there it is, and you can find out updates, training, etc. Like within some of the Google products, this is my last one I'm going to show you because it's like overload, but but I'm sure some people are getting into this like, oh, I didn't know this. But if you go into Google Sites, which is a place where you can create like your own free website, when you have like a website that you're building, another bonus that I found is when I was making this website, where did I find that? Now I can't find it. Oh no, this is horrible. But I saw, oh, here it is. When you click on the 3-dot menu here, there's take a tour. So like if you're trying to really learn your basic and you just want to learn like where this stuff is, you can take a tour, and when you click on that, it's gonna kind of like walk you through like step through step where things are. So that's like some of the features have like an added feature of a tour that is built into it, as well as like updates. So that's that. Okay, I don't know why I say that now. All right, let's go back into presenting. So now we know how to find what's new. Let's get into the updates. Let's learn what's going on. So first is Google Meet. So within Google Meet, just a side thing before I continue on, I want to say that some of the updates are don't show up just on everyone's account. Some of the updates are just a free update that everyone has access to. And then within Google for Education or within Google products, they do have levels and you would have to pay. Like for instance, I work for Chicago Public Schools in Illinois, and we have an Education Plus Google Workspace. So we get pretty much all of the features. But if I go into my personal account, some of these features are not there. So if you see a feature, you're like, cool, oh, I would love to use multiple moderators. Why don't I see it? You might either have to choose to upgrade your Google account or just take what they have for free and accept it as that. But I always want to give that caveat because people do get like, why don't I see what you're talking about? Like there's different levels to the updates. So the first update is the multiple moderators. This one came out kind of like at the spring of 2022. So some of the updates are like brand spanking new, and some have been around like about 6 months or so. So I didn't want to cover them all just in case, you didn't know that. But now you can have multiple moderators within your Google Meet. What that means is instead of you just being the host, you can make multiple people a host within a Google Meet. You can make up to 22 people a host. So what that means is the person is able to remove people from the Google Meet. They can mute them. They can pin people, they can add people. So you can make multiple people a host now, which is a great feature. I wish that came out during the pandemic because it did. But now, now it is an update that you can use in your classroom and make multiple people a host, and then you can kind of take the brunt of the load. So I'll give you an example from my life. When I do presentations within Google Meet, and if I'm doing it for my district, if someone joins from that's not within the Chicago Public Schools domain, you literally have to admit them constantly into the presentation. So what I do is now, because I have multiple moderators, I can add someone as a host, and their primary job is just to admit people who don't have CPS email addresses into the Google Meet, and that allows me to present. So that's just like a practical example. Now you can use closed captions in Google Meet. They come in 5 languages. So they're in English, French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish. If you're trying to know like well, I'll do this when I do my demo, but I will show you like how to turn this feature on. Another feature now, as you can see here, this is a teaching and learning upgrade. This is an Education Plus upgrade. So that means if you don't see this, you would have to have purchased these two like Google updates. But what it does have is closed captions in a live stream. So for instance, if I'm in a Google Meet, let's say I'm doing a parent-teacher conference, this is my most like practical example. But you can like, I could be speaking in English, but my parent could translate it into Spanish as I'm talking live. And I have tested this out, and it's like really accurate. Like it's like really good. So now, even though it says coming in the months, like this is actually a live update and currently is live. So this is the same concept I was talking about, where they do a live translation in the Google Meet. So if I go, if you see like Joe over here, Joe is speaking in Spanish, okay, but when it's kind of a slow GIF, but then see it translated into English, what they were saying on the other end. So that's like the live translation, and it does it in all the between English and Spanish. You can choose like how you would like it to translate. Again, public live streaming is an Education Plus and teaching and learning upgrade. Most school districts have Education Plus. I mean, if your school is a Google school, they have probably paid for this upgrade. It just makes sense. But you can do live streaming now, so that means like if you have a graduation, you can just like be within the Google Meet and like live stream it, or like if you're presenting, like I presented at a conference, and like instead of sharing the Google Meet link, I shared the public live streaming link. Like that, those are some of the things you can do with it. And it actually works like really good. I really like that option. Now this is my little my own bootleg screenshots of little hidden updates that you're not gonna find within like the Anywhere School, because one thing that for some reason makes me super happy is like finding new little hidden things within Google that weren't there before. So Google is constantly updating things, but they only highlight like kind of like big updates, but it's always changing. Like literally from week to week, it'll be like a new button. But basically the point is that I wanted to show you that in a Google Meet, you can now see, okay, so I see in this Google Meet that I was in, it was 232 people. All those people were on the calendar invite, but now if Google knows who was invited to the Google Meet, it'll also like generate a list of people who aren't there. I don't want to say it's like snitching, but Google kind of tells you like, oh, like Jennifer, she's not here. And like, so now I can send her like a message and be like, hey, just so you know, we're meeting right now. And it'll give like a list of all the people who aren't there. You also within Google can search. So you can search who is there, and then you can like basically like message them like we're meeting now, or we just started. And that's like kind of intuitive because I know I'm not the only one that has done this, but I have literally been sitting at my computer and like completely missed a meeting. I think Dr. Alexander can say, you did that today. Because I was supposed to join the meeting at 10:45 and I was like literally just sitting here. Like, so this feature helps, like if you can just quickly chat the person and be like, Joy, get to this meeting. Another feature is Miro. I know that this is like within Education Plus, but this is a more updated whiteboard. Like within Google Meet, you can use whiteboarding and it takes you to like a Jamboard, but now you can use Miro. And I just gave like some examples of what it looks like. It's a lot more colorful. You can draw, you can have more people on it. I really like Miro. It's great for like brainstorming. In my job, we used it to create like our vision and mission statement. So now we could all be in a meeting and be like working on this all together. Another update is within Google Meet. I know you see my bootleg picture here, but this is my example from real life. You now can upload pictures. This is like not hidden, but it's like a new feature where you can now do a background. Like just like in Zoom, you can like add your own picture for a background. They just added this in like August where you can add your own picture for a background, and you can do that by going to apply visual effects, and then you'll see it here. I mean, if you don't want to add your own picture, Google does have a lot of their own like fun backgrounds, but it's always cool to add your own picture. So now it's demo time. Let's talk about, let me show you this in real time. So I'm going to go to Google Meet. And remember, you can always go to any Google product by putting the product.google.com. So I'm going to put meet.google.com. You can also find any Google product in the waffle or the Google Apps icon. So that's just a little like just for your own information. So if I'm going to a new meeting, now I'm going to just show you, wait, let me mute myself. Okay, cool. Now I'm just going to show you where all these features actually are. So if you have the upgrade, if you click on this triangle, square, circle, or activities as they call it, this is where you would find like Miro if it's there. This is where live stream would appear if it is an option. A little side thing that I always like to mention is for breakout rooms, if you make a Google Calendar invite that includes a Google Meet, you can make your breakout rooms ahead of time. So if you invited everyone, you can already set up your breakout rooms ahead of time and save yourself time. That's just like an added little tip thing. But if you click on this 3-dot menu, I usually call it the snowman menu. If you click on the 3-dot menu here, this is where you click on apply visual effects. This is where I can add in my picture by clicking on this, or I can use any of the backgrounds that they've given me. So that's like an example. Also, here's the closed caption option. So if I click on this, I can decide, you know, if I want it to be English, or if I'm like, I want it to be something else, I can pick the language that I want my closed captions to be on. Remember, you have to kind of like have it turned on to have it as an option. So if for some reason you don't see it, check your settings, make sure you actually have it turned on. And this is where the translated captions are. So if I was in a meeting with someone in Brazil, which would be awesome, and they're speaking Portuguese, I can just turn this on, and then I can, while they're talking in Portuguese, I can translate it, or vice versa. So that's where you can find those things. Something I always like to share with people, if for some reason your computer is running slow or your camera is turned off within a Google Meet, always, whenever you go to your video, instead of having your, this is just a tip, instead of having it on sim resolution auto, you're always going to want to have that on standard definition 360, and you're going to want to have your resolution on standard definition 360. That prevents your computer from running slow, your camera from shutting off automatically, randomly. And if you're somebody that uses a lot of tabs, you're going to want to like have this turned on. That's just an added bonus. I just want to share that with you. But again, here's some of the features that I referenced within your Google Meet. If I had multiple people within the Meet, I would click on the people person, And if like, let's say someone else joined, it would be a 3-dot menu option here. And I can click on that 3-dot menu option and I'll see the option to add them as a co-host. So those are some of the features and updates that I just was referencing in the presentation. Are there any questions on Google Meet? All right, go ahead.
Well, one on Google Meet and then one on something you talked about earlier. So for the Google Meet one is, do you know any way that we can annotate in Meet like we do in Zoom?
Ooh, I'm not certain. I don't think that feature is available in Google Meet. As far as I know, I think the closest that you can get to that is the whiteboarding. That's like their closest thing. But again, I would highly recommend. That is a great feature to recommend. So that's why I always like to show, like, I would go to this question mark and I was, put my information in and click on help or whatever. I'm not going to go into this right now, but I would suggest that feature to them, like annotating in Meet. But right now, I do not know of that feature.
And someone suggested in the chat that they use Pear Deck.
Is there a question, can they use Pear Deck?
No, it was an answer to that question. So the people watching the video can know that someone suggested Pear Deck to use for annotations.
Oh yeah. I mean, Pear Deck is a great tool to use. Yeah, you can draw on it, you can drag and drop. I mean, if you're trying to do it within a presentation, yeah, that would probably be the best add-on. But I'm just saying, like, Google Meet by itself doesn't intuitively have that option. You would definitely and in order to get Pear Deck, you can go to add-ons within a Google slide deck, and you would click on get add-ons, and then that's where you would find Pear Deck. And then you would install it. So yeah, that would be, thank you who suggested that. That would be a great workaround.
So the next question is, where did you find the Google Update feature?
Oh, sure. You can find the update feature within any Google product, either by clicking on help. Like if you see the word help, you'll see updates. Or within some Google products, like within Calendar, for instance, within some Google products, it won't be a help button, but there'll be a question mark. And when you click on that, you'll see updates. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Next question, are all of these new features available only when using Google Suite for Education?
No, just like in my presentation, if you see that, for instance, on this, on this slide, if you see this here, that means like you have to either have the Teaching and Learning upgrade or the Education Plus. If you don't see it there, then it should be available for everyone. But hopefully my stuff is as accurate as possible, but it should be so that's like my little caveat. If you see that there, that lets you know where it fits at.
Okay, and the last question is the translation in your voice?
No, it's not even audio translation.
I wasn't sure about that question because
it's not going to be audio. It's basically like subtitles. So if you're talking to someone in English and they want it to be translated in Spanish, they'll see subtitles in Spanish of what you're saying, but it won't be any audio. Like they won't hear it in Spanish. They'll just be able to read it in Spanish.
And those are all of the questions.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Okay, well, let's keep going. We have a lot of updates. I mean, a lot more to go through. So I'm just let's keep going along. Google Docs. The updates are amazing in here. Like literally amazing. I love Google Docs. This is some good updates that they made. So one is checklist. As you can see, this is a part of Education Fundamentals. If you see Education Fundamentals, that means it's available to everyone. Like anyone can use it. But now you can put checklists and you can check things off. It's great for lists. I use it in when I was in my classroom to remind students, type your name, turn it in Google Classroom. They just check it off. So I love the checklist feature. Another feature now is the smart chips. Smart Chips is basically if you put the @ within Google, it's almost like a mini search engine. Like if you put the @ and it's a certain word, it's gonna look for that word. Like it's gonna look for people, your files, calendar invites. It's extremely intuitive. Like an example of it in my quick links document here, instead of this looking like a long link, instead it looks like a title. And that's because within this Google Doc, they use Smart Chips and they changed it to look like this and took you to the presentation. That's like a live example of Smart Chips. But I'll give you more demos, but I just wanted to show you that. And then also within Smart Chips, some of the new Google features like building blocks and the drop-down menu, if you put down the @ and like drop, you'll find like the drop-down menu or other features within Google. So the Smart Chips are smart. It really makes a difference. You can present now within any Google product just by going in the upper right-hand corner. Like if you're in a meeting and you want to present in like a Google Doc, you just click present and then it'll present into the meeting that you're currently in. It's just like kind of like a quicker shortcut. The table templates are like awesome. Like that, I really never use Google Docs for tables because they're kind of clunky. They didn't transfer over. They didn't look as nice. But now the table properties, there's so many features in there. And the tables are a lot more smoother and streamlined. There's an option for people to vote, but it is anonymous, but that is like a table template that you can use. I'll show you that later. The Smart Canvas, again, that just deals with using the @ So you can use the @ to add in building blocks, people, files, calendar invites. It's like really intuitive, and it just saves time. The reason why I feel like it saves time because in the past, you would go to insert and then find the image and then put the link. It's like just cuts down on clicks, basically. So here's an example of a Smart Canvas. So this is their science fair project. So they just used a brainstorming building block or template to make, that's how they got it to pop up. They're gonna use the @ to insert like an actual file that's a Google Doc. They're gonna use now they're using a table template and they're gonna vote over here, which is a new Google Doc feature. And then I don't think this one shows it, but they can also put this one they use checklist, but if they wanted to add someone's email, they would put the @ and then the person's email. So those are some of the updates within Google Docs. You also can do writing tips where they'll give you tips like, okay, this might be a better term to use, or like they'll give you a warning, especially for students. It's a great thing to show to students, but you do have to have Education Plus, but it will warn them like, hey, that what you're typing may be offensive. So it does give like writing tips. All these are my little hidden Google updates. But now whenever I share something with people, this copy link button being here, that's actually new. Like that wasn't there. You used to have to, when you would share something with someone, you had to like copy the whole link and then share the link with them. Now it's a little more streamlined. You just click that button and then paste the link where you need to go. You don't have to highlight it, copy it, then paste it. Again, one less click. You also can do emojis within Google Docs, and you can use emojis when you comment on things within Google Docs. Here's an example of the building blocks. These are so awesome. They're basically like built-in templates. My favorite one is an email draft, just simply because it will draft the email and then you can actually send it from Google Docs. I'm of course going to show you this. And this little copy button, this duplicate looking image here, this has been a pretty staple like icon for copying things, but now it's more present, like in everywhere you go. Like you can now copy like links, emails, a lot smoother and a lot quicker within Google Docs. So let's get into a demo. Let me show you some of these cool features that I'm referencing. Remember, within any Google product, you can always put docs.new, slides.new, sheets.new, sites.new, and you will get a new, clean document that automatically goes to your Google Drive. That's just a shortcut that I love. A lot of people don't use this, but this little document outline, if you have like a super long document, is a built-in table of contents over here, just to add a little tip. But let's get into the demo. So if I put this @ sign and like I want to send something to Dr. Alexander, I can just click it and her email will appear, and like her information when you hover over it will also appear. That's like something really cool that I like. Also, if I do the @ sign, this is where I can see like, okay, I can do a meeting note. So if I wanted like a template, I could click on email draft, and now an email draft template is gonna pop up. Let me just close this out. Also, if you're someone who doesn't like seeing like the page on the side, you can go pageless now. That's within file and page setup. If you just don't want to see like, you just want like an open canvas. I'm gonna get into the email draft because I think this is one of the best building blocks. Now you can like draft the email, especially if you work in like a team and you guys want like a drafted email that you want everyone to use. You can make it within Google Docs, put it in your Google Drive, put it in a folder, but it will send. So you can put the people who you want to send it to. Like if I was sending it to Dr. Alexander, I could copy her. I can put Happy Saturday. Okay, and then I can put my message, can't wait to present, yay, and then I'll put joy. But if I look here, if I really actually want to send it, I can click on this, and I'll be able to preview it within Gmail. I'll be able to preview it, and then I can take it to another level and actually send it if I want, or I can click this arrow to schedule send. I love schedule send, I tell everybody about this. But you can actually send it within a Google Doc. Like that's the email draft. I love this because it's going to cut down on templates that you have to use when you're sending emails. Let's get into the tables. Like for instance, if I highlight the text, this is where I can comment, but also I can put an emoji. Like if I'm commenting on a student's work, I love this, or something. You can put an emoji now, and also if you go to insert, you can just insert emojis within Google Docs as well. So that's like a new feature. If we go, what else did I want to show? Oh, I just want to show like I showed the building block. Okay, cool, we're good. So now I'm going to move into the table. So if I want to insert a table just the regular way, here's the table template. So this is where you can find like certain tables that are pre-set up for you, but then you also can just like do your own table here. Some cool features though, if I put my name and then here and then fun and then times, you can also now within Google Docs, you can click this plus sign here, and you can add a row, so that cuts down on time. If I go above a column, I can click the plus sign and I can add a column. And then also when I'm above it, I can click on this little grid and I can move the columns around. Or if I wanted to move like this row up, I can click on the little grid and now I can move it. One of my favorite things is that now you can pin the header. So this used to really irritate me about Google Docs, because if you, and I'm gonna give an example, so just ignore all these like rows, but I just want you to see. So as you can see, this is technically a new page, but let's say I wanted Blake and then Joy to be on every page of the Google Doc. Right now, technically I would either have to copy it over here or like retype it, but now with the new updates, you can pin the header. And so now when I pin it, I know it's a new page because every time I go to a new page, like my header will always appear. See that? So that's a cool feature. Also, another thing, especially with my students, if you have like, you know how you have like, you're in a table and the stuff kind of, see how it ran over into the next page? A lot of times my students will like miss important information because of that. So another cool thing that I like, that's an update, is you can highlight the row and then you can right click. You're gonna go to table properties. And when you go there, you can go to row and you can uncheck allow row to overflow. And when you uncheck this, it won't overflow anymore like that. Like Google will automatically make it like all come together so that it looks cleaner, it's not split. So that's like a feature I use the tables a lot more than I used to in the past. So also the only other @ thing I just want to show you, which is literally one of my favorite ones that I would use with my students all the time. So we learned about the building blocks, we learned about adding in emails, but another building block is the drop-down menu. So if you go into, before I talk about it so I don't forget, a lot of people don't use voice typing. Just keep in mind, like, you can voice type within Google Docs. That's just something I just wanted to share. But you can also insert a drop-down menu now. So you can either go to insert and drop down here, or you can go to, if you put the @ and then you start to type, I'll do it again because I kind of lost it. If I click the @ and then type drop, like drop down will start to appear. Because as you can see, like this is one of my presentations, stay on top of drag and drop. It like found that word drop than anything that I had. It has places that has the word drop. It has emojis that deal with drop that I can easily just like add in. But the point is you can now do drop down menus. So if I wanted to, I'm gonna cancel this so I can model it for you fully. But if I was like, what is your favorite color? Okay, I can put this for my students, and now I'm gonna do the @ and then drop. And when I click on it here, I can do a new drop down, and I can put the color. So I can put blue, red, yellow, and I'm kind of feeling purple today. So I'm gonna put purple right here. So you can put these here, and then you can put like blue, red, and you can actually like make the colors match. And then you can also use this grid and rearrange your items. You can add new options, and then also what you want to do is you can give your like drop down a name. So once you give it a name, you can reuse it. So I'm going to save it now, and now my student, they can select, you know, what their favorite color is. And then if I wanted to recreate the question like, what color starts with B? Okay, I can put the @ and then put drop, and then when I do that, now I have the colors one that I've already created, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can just click on it, and now the student can like choose that option. So that's one of my favorite updates because I love drop-down menus. I don't know, it just makes me happy. Anyway, so for the sake of time, I know I might have questions, but I'm going to save questions now for the end just because it's 11:48, and then I will get back to them. I just want to make sure I get through all the updates. So the next update is within Google Sheets. Google Sheets, I know some people are nervous about it. They don't know how to use it, but it's getting a lot easier to use. One component is you can hide your tabs. So if you don't want to see all the tabs, you can hide them. You also can change the color of the tabs. So you see when they click, there's change color. So you can make them different colors. They give assisted analysis. This is an Education Plus feature, but this really helps me a lot. Like if you click on it, it'll tell you like, you should use this formula, or you almost got this right, but you need to add this in. Like it'll help you, especially with someone that doesn't speak Google Sheet language and all the formulas. That's an added feature. I don't have that many for Google Sheets, so I'm just gonna keep moving. Google Classroom has a lot of cool updates. To me, one of the, this one came kind of at the end of spring of 2022. But now if someone joins your Google Meet from the classroom, the student cannot get into the Google Meet until you're there. That was a big issue during the pandemic. Students were taking the Google Meet link and having their own personal like meetings, all kinds of stuff. That feature, they can no longer do that. This is available to everyone. So if you have a Google Classroom and you enable Google Meet, they have to wait for you to be there to actually join. Or if you make somebody like a co-host, or a co-teacher, one of you would have to be there in order for the student to join. People can now work offline with their Google Classroom. So if they don't have internet, they can still access it and work offline. The add-ons, holy moly, the add-ons are so cool and they really make a difference. I just want to explain what the add-ons do. Basically what it means is, like, for instance, I used to use Kahoot a lot with my students. Instead of having to share like the PIN number and the students have to log in and play the game, now you can attach a Kahoot to a Google Classroom assignment, and when the student clicks on the link, it automatically will take them to the Kahoot. That's like an example of it. Or if you have like a book widget assignment, instead of them having to log out of Google Classroom, then log into book widgets, then find the assignment, then complete it, then the student will turn it in within book widgets, and then you as a teacher will have to go into book widgets and find the assignment and grade it. That no longer is the case. You can just assign it within Google Classroom, the student completes it and turns it in within Google Classroom, and you grade it within Google Classroom. Less clicks, less places to go. This is just like a quick video that will show you. I'm going to talk over it because it's muted just so you know what they're doing. But you're going to go to the classwork, click on create. You can make an assignment. And when you do that, you'll see the add-on option here. And they're going to add in, use a book widget. They've already created the assignment. So keep that in mind. So they created that within book widgets, and now they're going to assign it. So now you're going to see it from student view. So when the student goes in, they're going to read the assignment, okay, and now they're going to click on the assignment within book widgets. The student is going to complete it. Okay, they're completing it. Okay, Madrid, Paris, all the places I want to go. And then the student is going to turn it in within Google Classroom. So now they've turned it in and they can unsubmit it, as you can see, and now the teacher can click on it and grade it and also comment on it within Google Classroom. So that's basically like the add-on feature. Let me go, okay. And then let's go to the next one, slideshow. And this one, if you teach multiple classes, like for me, I was a 5th grade math teacher. So I had 2 classes of 5th grade math and science. So I had to create 2 separate Google Classrooms. And before this update, you would have to create an assignment in one class, and then you could repost it in another class. Now, instead of doing all those clicks, you can just assign it to both classes at the same time, even though you may be like within another class. This is a great feature for if you have multiple classes. You can now schedule assignments across multiple classes. So I love this feature. This is not here yet, the dashboard. I can't wait till this actually comes, but they are in the process of creating a dashboard where you can actually like see what the child was doing while they were in your Google Classroom. So you can see like, what did they open up? How long were they in there? What did they do? But again, this feature has not gone live yet, but it's coming. Practice sets is another feature that is in the beta stage, and it also is coming. It's great. Like I was a part of the practice sets beta, and what you can do is kind of like, if you think about like flashcards or like a mini little like practice quiz. It gives them like skills that they can work on. And when they get the answer right, it does like a celebration, but it's not like a quiz that you would grade. It'll just like show you how many they got right and wrong, but there's no like grade attached to it. So it's more for them to like practice skills over and over. Right now for the beta, it's only for math and science right now, but it helps you with coming up with questions. It's like really easy, and like you can share with other teachers. I can't wait till you guys, other people can see it. So those are some of the updates within your Google Classroom. Another thing that I didn't mention, but it is like a cool update. If you're in your Google Classroom, you can now add in pictures within your announcements here. And then also within your header here, you can add your own, like you can now upload your own photo. That's been there for a while, but some people don't know about that little thing. But if I have like an announcement, hey friends, and I want to see, here's my add-on menu here. But if I wanted to upload like a picture that I have, I'm just gonna try to find one quickly. It might be a random screenshot. Oh, well, let's see. Let's do the check. If I do this check mark, now it can display, you can make it a display image, which means instead of it being looking like an attachment within the announcement, it'll be a part of the announcement. So you can either make it a display image or you can click on the 3-dot menu and remove it. So I'm going to show it to you in both ways. So without it being a displayed image, if I post this, it will look like that. See how it's kind of like attached? But if I edit it and make it, set it as the display, and now I repost it, it's gonna, see how it's like in there, like it's inside of the actual message. So that's one little update. When you go to classwork, that's where, when you create your assignment here, that's where you'll be able to see the add-on. So as you see, I don't play around. I love add-ons. That's all. I pretty much have them all, but if you want to add them on, you can click on the 3-dot and you can explore add-ons here. And that's where you'll be able to go and install the ones that you want to use. So for instance, if I'm making an assignment, I think it has to have a title, but if I'm making an assignment and I click on the add-on, like I use Safari Montage in my job, it's gonna open up Safari Montage or like a portion of it, but it's very slow. So this demo might not work. But if I wanted to randomly add this United States flag thing, I can select it. And once I selected it, it's attached like to the assignment within Google Classroom. That's like a great example. Here's practice sets. Like if I click on this, I can attach practice sets. But remember, this is in like the demo, so people don't have it. But when I go into a practice set, now because it's math, you can easily add in fractions. You can do multiple choice. So it's kind of like a mini Google form. But the difference is you can try it as a student. So when you try it as a student, it'll like let you preview it in the how the student will see it. You can put in all the correct answers, and the student can click show work, and they can like figure out the answer. And if they click on that, they actually can like write and like practice it themselves. I have no idea which one I said was the right answer here. So but they can click, if they click check, like, okay, see how it told me, oh, that's wrong. And I can click on this like light bulb and it'll give me like hints. It'll tell me, okay, what I need to do, or I can like watch videos, or if I click on extra help down here, like videos about that question and like random things on the internet it's not like random, it's like thought through educational things will appear to like help that child with it. Let's see if I can figure out which one I put. I'm just curious. Okay, it's not Earth. Why would I not say that? I might not have put the right answer. I think I didn't. But if I got it right, it would do like a check mark and like some type of celebration. You also can put in like a title or a description that's not a question. So if you're trying to do a practice set and put directions or something, you're able to do that. So that's kind of like a sneak peek into it. It's still like really in the works. They're doing a lot of like questions, trying to figure it out, but I like it because you can edit it. And one thing about the settings, you can turn it off so it doesn't like mark it wrong if it's not capitalized, or it'll like intuitively know the equivalent answer so it won't mark things wrong that should be right. And when you want to just make a new question, you can just literally click new question or import questions. I know one of my feedback was, can we add in pictures? It's like things that they're working on, but it's not finalized. So that's just like a preview into practice sets. I think that covers everything for Google Classroom that I wanted to show you guys. So again, just for the sake of time, I know you have questions, I know, but I just want to make sure I didn't get through everything because this is what you signed up for, and I don't want you to be like, dang, I really wanted to know the Gmail updates, but all she did was talk about Google Meet. So let me just get through it, and trust me, we'll have time at the end. So let's get into Chrome. If you have Google Chrome on your computer, it's like really getting a lot better. Like it has a lot of cool little features, like especially for accessibility. You can now like turn it on so it'll pan like across the screen and get like a lot larger for students who may have like a visual thing, or if you're like me who's kind of old and needs stuff to be zoomed in so I can see it better, you can use a full screen magnifier. You also, if you're trying to learn more about Google Chrome, they have Vox tutorials, which is similar to like the help button. They're like little lessons that like teach you how to use parts of Google Chrome. This one, I don't know why my school district doesn't use this. I've told them multiple times, this is a great feature for the littles, like early childhood students, because my son, he can put in like a 4-dot pin. And I mean, when you think about your phone, we all put in like a pin to get into our phone. Now you are able to do it. I'm not certain if it's live yet. I haven't seen it, so I assume that's why my district hasn't used it. But within the settings, you can turn it on as an admin that people can log in using a pin to get into their Chromebooks. Here's some updates that I just saw these recently. But now you can, and this one I have turned on, like if you wanted the tabs that you had open when you logged out of your Chrome or logged out of your computer to remain open, you can go within settings and have it continue where you left off. So all the tabs you had will just be up there. Another thing, which is cool to me, like within a PDF, you can now hit the 3-dot menu and you can present the PDF so that it, like you see how my screen kind of looks like more in the presentation mode. Now you're able to do that also with PDF. So it takes away, like, if you have a PDF and it's all that black, like around the PDF, like that will kind of minimize and it'll look more like a presentation. The coolest one, but also the weirdest one, is Google Lens. Now any image that you see within Google, you can right click and click on Google Lens and it'll like tell you information about that person, the place, like you get shot for things like that. So I think my demo is next. Okay, yeah, it is. So I'm gonna show you what I was referencing. So if I'm on a Chromebook, so when I go to my Chromebook here and I go to the settings, this is where within the settings is where I'm trying to remember, where is my accessibility? Why am I going blank? But let's see, is it about my about Chrome? Oh no, I'm gonna go into there it is. It's under advanced. There's accessibility where that's where, where you can go and like magnify the things under this category. Under the personalization, I'm trying to find where you can continue where you left off. I know it is here. Let's see here, device. I always forget. I don't remember everything all at once. Don't judge me, I'm sorry. Let me see here. Oh, where is it? I know it's under settings, and as soon as I'm done presenting, I'll find it. I don't remember right now, but I know that we don't have that much time, so I kind of don't want to waste too much time on it. But I know it's under settings. Just look for it and you can continue like where you left off. Also, if you always update your computer. If for some reason your computer is not working great or it seems weird, go to about your Chrome or whatever computer you have and see if you have updates. That's just like a little hidden thing. Also, with like I just want to demo the Google Lens. So if I go to images here, and I right click on this image, now you'll see the option search image with Google Lens. So if that person clicks on it for this particular image, it's gonna pull up like anything like dealing with this image. Can someone look you up and use Google Lens? Unfortunately, yes, but that's the part that's a little creepy. But yes, you can use Google Lens. And just a little added like tip, if you're trying to get images, I love to design stuff, always make sure to use this tools when you search for images, because when you go to usage rights, that's where you can see if it says all, some of this stuff you'll get sued if you use it like on a t-shirt and sell it. Creative Commons, see how it like changes, like this is where you can see like what's free for people to use or not use. Also, within Google products, there's always the Explore tool here. And within this Explore tool, it's like a mini search engine. Mine always does this. I don't know why. But within any Google product, you can look for the Explorer tool, and it's gonna search the internet for that item. So if I go to Explorer and I do Mickey Mouse, it's gonna search the web for items about Mickey Mouse. It's gonna pull up any images, and any images that do come up, those are free to use. Those are like free copyrighted images that anyone can use, and it'll search your Google Drive for Mickey Mouse. If you're in a Google Doc, the Explorer tool is also there. The only thing I forgot to show you this, but it will also, mine always does it, I don't know why it does it, but it also will give you the option to cite like websites within a Google Doc. So if I wanted to cite this, I can click on this quotation, and when I click on it, it's gonna give a cited footnote from this link to my document. So that's like a little cool like thing with the Explorer tool. I love the Explorer tool. I actually use that quite a lot. All right, so that was Google Chrome. We're almost there, almost to the finish line, and time for questions. So if I look here, Google Chat, Gmail, calendar updates, there's a few in there. This one's not that new. It came out maybe like in the spring of last year or February-ish. But if you're in a Google Chat, you now can share like a video, a Google Meet in there, a document, a GIF in there, but also you can put like, if you put a slide deck in there, the person can open it in a side-by-side way, and then you guys can like chat about it live. So I like that feature. I use that in my job a lot. The interface within Gmail has changed a lot. Like now, instead of Google Chats constantly popping up on your Gmail, they pop up on the left-hand side, and then you can just click on the person and like open it up in a smaller bubble, so that you're not like, your whole email isn't covered with G-chats, which is how it used to be. You also can decide if you want to turn on or turn off your email signature by clicking on this. And then this toolbar has been here for a while, but you can, if you're inside a Google product, you can like open up your calendar and a little side preview, or your tasks or your keep notes within Google products. Another feature is they have add-ons now that you can add on to your Gmail to make it a lot better, or to just, add things onto your Gmail. That's a newer feature. Within your calendar, this is an example of the toolbar. When you click on the toolbar, your calendar will open up in like a little window that you can quickly like preview or scan. Google Calendar does have time insights. It's kind of weird, and it kind of might make you feel a little depressed because you're like, man, I was in a meeting for 10 hours during this week, but you can see like where your time is being spent within your Google Calendar. You also can see like who have you met with the most, like things of that nature. And now you can add like an appointment schedule and like booking options. So for instance, if you wanted to meet with someone, they can go to your calendar and book with you between 3 and 5 every day or something like that. With my job, we also can put our work location. There's no reason I want to do this, but we have to do this, and tell them if we're working from home or in the office on certain days. And it'll actually like show up on your calendar where you're at. So those are some of the Google Calendar features. Focus time, I feel like people don't use as much, but it actually, like, if you click on focus time, and let's say you have focus time from 12 to 2, if you had a meeting during that time, it'll like cancel all the meetings automatically for you. No one can book time with you, and it's kind of a way to like force you to work, or like schedule time for you to work, or take time for yourself. So that is another Google Calendar feature. So first, let's go to Calendar first, since it's fresh on my mind. So I'm going to go to Calendar, and if I click on Make a New Event, that's where I see my appointment schedule now. That's where I see focus time. And if you were someone like, if I add Google Meet to my invite, if I click on the settings here, that's where I can go and make someone a co-host ahead of time, or I can make my breakout rooms ahead of time. So that's where that feature is. On the side here, this is where my insights part is. So as you can see, I've been in meetings for 3 hours, I can do more insights, and I can literally see like what days I had long meetings or people that I met with and things of that nature. And I can sort it by color, things like that. I have no idea why anybody would get into this, but you know, do you. Also, I like the feature where I can search, like this is my husband. I can search for him. He doesn't have his calendar shared with me, but if he did, I would be able to find like a time for us to meet, because I would be able to see his calendar and my calendar side by side and see when there's openings. I always encourage people to use the search within calendars. It does save time, and it's still like a Google search. You can find like a lot of great things just by using your search. And here's a toolbar I was referring to. So like if I want to open up my Keep Notes while I'm in calendar, I can do that using this toolbar. And if I click on the plus, that's where I can add add-ons like to this toolbar right here. So that's basically Google Calendar. If I go to my Gmail, I just want to show you in real time some of those updates. But now this is more streamlined, so the chat and spaces and all this is now on the side. It used to be like you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom. It would be like in this long rolling tab. Now it's over here. If someone does chat you, their chat will appear over here, and you can see like, oh, I have 3 chats I need to answer, but it's not gonna like block your entire email, which is what it used to do. Let me see what else. And if you wanted to add an add-on to your Gmail, that you would just go to your settings, and when you go to settings, you'll see the option of add-ons, and that's where you can click on it and, you know, find ones that you want to add by like going to manage, and you can decide. Remember, they do have to be, like for my district, it has to be installed by my administrator. Everyone's is different, but that's like an example. What else was it? Oh, and if you compose like an email, this is where you find the email. So if I don't want, this is where you find your signature thing. So if I don't want my signature there, I can click it and it won't appear on that message, or I can click it and it'll appear. And then if you have now you can have multiple signatures and decide which one you want to put. Also, these little updates are like relatively new, but now they have templates or layouts for emails. So you can click on this little button here, and you can like see all these nice little templates for an email, and they look so fancy and nice. I mean, that's also like there. That's like a little hidden thing. And then this multi-send, game changer. If you're somebody that sends tons of emails to people, like I do, basically what happens is if you BCC, like let's say you're sending an email and you blind copy everyone, but it's like 100 people. If you do it that way, if 58 people respond, like it'll just be like one really long chain of all the responses. But now instead you can use this multi-send, and it'll individually send an email to each person that you have in a list, which makes it a lot easier for you to manage. So that's that. All right, cool. So I believe that's everything for, oh, I didn't show you chat. If we go to Google Chat, remember, if you want to change your status, you can click on this arrow and you can put set as away, do not disturb, and you can add your own status. Like some people in my job will put idle, or they'll put like in a meeting or something. And you can change your status so when people want to chat with you, they know, okay, don't chat with her, she's away. If I open up my chat, just to do a new one, let's do one, let me do one with my boss, it's the easiest one. So here's the chat, and as you can see, like we were able to add in like attachments, videos, things of that nature. So see there, here's an attachment, and if I want, I can look at it, well now I can't anymore, but you can look at it like over here in that side-by-side view. So that's what I meant when I was saying like the side-by-side view. Okay, I think we're almost through all of it. Oh, I think Google Slides, what's my time? Okay, I got 15 minutes. Google Slides and Drive updates. Pretty much, I'm not gonna show you the Google Slides one because there's not really that many updates, but now you can put a placeholder within a slide. So like for instance, if you want students, like maybe they're doing an all about me project, you can put that little placeholder, and then the child knows to insert a picture in that shape. So that's like, to me, the biggest update. And then also you can save colors, so you can make like a custom colorway, or if you downloaded like a slide deck from Slides Go, you can save that colorway and then give it a title, and you'll always be able to have that theme. Within Google Drive, I like this little update, but now if you have a Google Drive, if you click on something, and you can just click on it once, and this little toolbar will appear. And then now you can share the link, you can share it with other people, you can preview it. Like, let's say you don't remember what it looks like, but you want to quickly preview it, you can, and you can delete it. You also can click on the little eye, and you can see like who has access to it. So if I go to my Google Drive, and let's say I have it in a list form, let me just find something. Let's see. Okay, I have winter break. Here's this. I clicked on it once. Here's a little toolbar. And I'm like, what was winter break? I can click on the preview because I have so much stuff, and I can like quickly preview it and see like what it was. I'm not going to wait for it to load. And then I can also click on the eye, and I can see like who has access, how big is it, when did I make it, who's been inside of the document. I can see those type of things with the activity. So those are some little hidden things within Google Drive. All right, let's keep it moving. I went through that demo. I think Google Forms, I believe, is my last one. And Google Forms has a lot of updates. Like, I like it. I like these updates. So now the settings option has changed. Settings used to be up here. Now it's next to questions, response, and settings. And so next to responses. So now you can quickly get to your settings and change things. You have like 20 new fonts. Like Google Forms used to only have literally 4 fonts. Now it has 20 new fonts. You can change, you can choose the font for the header, the question, the answer. So you can have like 3 fonts in one form. You can pick what header you have now, and you have more color options. So it actually makes it like a lot more personal. Autosave came out last year, but now any Google form you use will be saved for 30 days. So let's say if you have a student working in something and it's time to go to recess, they can just close out and actually come back, and what they did will still be there. Before this update, you pretty much had to finish the form right then and there, because if you didn't, everything would be gone. And just one little thing about autosave, you can turn it off. So if you have a quiz or something, and you don't want kids to autosave, because then kids could technically like go back like 20 days later and put the right answers in. Why they would do that, I don't know. But if you want to turn off autosave, you definitely can. So if I go into my forms, if I go to forms.new, so here's a new form, I can now, here's the responses and here's my settings. So this is where you can, like limit it to 1 response. You can, if you go to presentation, you can shuffle it. You can add a message that the students see at the end when they finish the form. Like, this is a new feature that's here. A brand new spanking thing that I just discovered yesterday is when you click on send, now you can add an editor. This used to not be here. This is like new. Instead of just sharing the form with someone, you can click on it and add the editors right then and there. Prior to that, you used to have to go to the 3-dot menu and add collaborators there. Now you can do it under send. If you click on the palette or the theme, that's where you see all the new headers. Look at all these fonts you can do for your header. How cute is that? And you can change, oops, sorry, I got a little carried away. You can change how big it is. You can add your own image. You can add, and you can click on this plus and get more colors now. So you don't have to just use the colors that they give you. Ooh, I know, it makes me happy. But those are some of the things. And if you go to responses, that's the same pretty much. But you can now also, like if you want to disable autosave, this is where you would go under settings and you would just turn it off. Something you might notice already, but I always like to share this with people. If you want to get notified when somebody fills out your form, you can click on this 3-dot menu right here, And then you can get an email notification whenever somebody like submits your form. So like, let's say if you have a form about like maybe getting more information about your business, you might want to turn on email notifications so that you can quickly see, oh, somebody filled out my Blake Basics form. I want to respond to them. So that's where you can do that. I think that's I'm done. I know you're like, dang, she was going through a lot, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget. This is my page to make sure I didn't forget something. And I think, I didn't show you about, this is kind of creepy too, but there's a cloud search thing. So if you put like cloudsearch.google.com, it's like a personalized search of just what you've done while you were on Google. So it'll like pull up where you last were. It'll pull up like documents you had open. You can change your profile. You can show more stuff. It's kind of a little creepy, but I don't know if you want to use it, but I just like showing random hidden stuff. But most of this stuff I talked about, I didn't talk about companion mode, but basically that's within Google Meet. You can now turn on companion mode, and that will reduce the random reverb, especially if you're presenting. You won't get the reverb if you have two, like you're in a Google Meet like twice. That's what companion mode does. So this is, I'm at the end. These are my favorite game changers. I talked about the edit, so I already talked about that. Don't forget to import questions within Google Forms. Don't reinvent the wheel. Save yourself time. Like if you're in a Google form, you can click on this and you can just import questions from like other forms. So you don't have to like retype stuff. Just use another form. Like if I click on this form, mine is like slow. But you can just click on the form that you want to use. Yeah, mine's not working. And when you click select, it'll pull up all the questions from that form and you can just pick which ones you want to use. And it'll go into this form. So it saves you time. Like you don't have to retype like questions you've already typed. Don't forget to pin tabs, like right click, and you can pin a tab and it'll show up every time you go in. Jamboard now has version history. You can save an image as a background, and you can save like a Jamboard as an image, which is like super cool. Don't forget about the line tool. A lot of people don't use this in Google Slides and Docs, but if you're in a Google like document, you can go to tools and sorry, I did not mean to do that. You can go to the 3-dot menu. Where is my line? Oh, I'm struggling, so I don't want to waste too much time trying to find that right now, but I know you can do it. But you can go into the line here in Google Slides, and there's a scribble line. And when you use scribble, that's like literally writing. And it'll like save it. So if you go to scribble within Google, if you find it within Google Docs, you can like write with that tool. So that's like an example. I love sharing that. Also for teachers, if you have lower income students, use the Google Find Food support. Like this link literally use your location and find places where like kids or anybody can find like food and like help support that they might need. I really like that. And don't forget with the Omnibox, the Omnibox, which is this tool right here, your Omnibox is actually like a calculator. Like you can do 5 + 4 and press enter. Oh, I messed it up. Oh, the gorillas came up. How cool is that? Okay, 5 + 4, and you can press enter, and it'll like solve it. Like your Omnibox is a calculator. It'll translate like 5 to Spanish, and it's also like a search engine, and it'll translate it for you. If you have a document that you remember, like you can just start typing the title of the document, and it'll pull up documents that you have. Like it's a really good feature. It also will convert. So if you're like convert, oh gosh, if you put, I didn't mean to do that, but if you put like convert like cups into gallons, like it'll do it for you right in the Omnibox. So it saves time, saves clicks. I included some resources for you to use. These are some of my favorite things. If you like my cursor, that's where I got it from. And here's some stuff about me. I have a podcast with my husband called Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody. Here's some podcasts that I was on. I have a Teachers Pay Teachers store. For some random reason, I have a Poshmark store. It just gives me an excuse to shop, to be perfectly honest. I don't really sell anything yet. Here's my Twitter. But thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry you had tons of questions and I didn't get to them. But I will most definitely get to them now, and I will stay if people need help. But I have 5 minutes for questions, if there's any. I know there's probably like a ton.
We have a couple of questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
The first one is, if you are well, you can go ahead to Gmail. There's a couple of them for Gmail.
Okay, good.
If you are collaborating on an email draft, does everyone have the opportunity to send it from their Gmail?
So that's a great question. If you're within Google Docs, like if you're within Google Docs and you're using the email draft, which is something that I show, like when we go to insert and we go to building blocks and we go to email drafts, this is where you could multiple people could share it, because this is technically a Google Doc. So if I share the Google Doc with everyone that I work with or whatever, then they can access this, change the message, and then when they click on the preview thing, it'll take them to their own personal Gmail and they can send it out. Does that make sense? I don't know if I explained that. I hope so.
It makes sense to me, because you're sharing the document.
Yeah, you're sharing the doc.
I get it, and I click the mail, it goes to my Gmail. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Like if you're in Gmail though, you can within Gmail have your own templates. Like if you click on the 3 dot here, you can make templates, but this is only going to be like for you and for your email. Like you can't share these with anybody else. That's the difference.
Next, where is the multi-send button in Gmail again?
The multi-send is in this. Let me see if I can move this up. Okay, I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, see this, the pen, the templates, here's multi-send. And if you don't see it, that might be because, like, I don't think I have multi-send on my personal email. I'm almost 100% certain I don't. So this is like a feature, a paid feature. I can almost confirm. I'm almost certain I do not have that. This is my personal email. So here's my personal. So if I go to compose, I have so many emails. But if I go like, I don't have multi-send because that's a paid feature.
What is the difference between multi-send and just doing BCC?
Great question. Let me give you that's a great question. So, okay, I switched jobs. Congratulations to me. Oh, and then like, okay, so I sent out an email to, let's see if this is the example I'm looking for. Okay, I sent out an email to 100 people in BCC. As you can see, because I did BCC, I have 13 random individual emails that now I have to like scroll through to try to find like who to respond to. So if you just do like BCC and you put like tons of people under BCC, if every single person responds, like it'll be the longest chain in the universe of them sending you a message and then you responding back to them and then them sending you a message and you responding back to them, and then you have to like keep track of it. Whereas if you use multi-send, like for instance for Samantha, if I would have used multi-send, I would have just got an individual message from Samantha. And then I would, I hope that makes sense. And then I wouldn't have to track, like, did I respond to her? Like, it's like when you do it and you have like hundreds of people, it's super confusing. So that's why I would use multi-send mode.
So if you don't use conversation view in Gmail, it may not make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Next question. Can you multi-send with 2 or CC and people will not be able to respond all?
If you do multi-send, they will not be able to, which is also a very annoying thing with group emails. They will not be able to reply all. Like you put like happy birthday to Jordan and then everybody replies all happy birthday. That's like so annoying. If you use multi-send, everyone's going to get an individual email. So they really wouldn't have, the only person they would kind of reply to is like you who sent it, if that makes sense. but they're not
Makes complete sense. And I'm guessing their email address will be up there where if you BCC, they know that you BCC because they only see you sent it to yourself.
Right.
If you do multi-sig, you'll have their email address like you sent it just to them.
Right, yeah. It automatically makes an individual email for them. So they don't have the option to reply all. They don't have
a little bit more personalized. It looks like you took time to send each parent an email.
Correct email, yes.
All right, the next two are off of Gmail. So I think they're both for Classroom. I was trying to organize them.
Oh, I think
can I archive an announcement in the stream or like hide it from my students, but still see it in mine?
Yes. Okay, great question. All right, hold on. Let me just get to, so if I'm in my classroom, the only way really, I mean, also, this is a new feature where you can move stuff to the top. I forgot to talk about this. But really, the only way that you can do it is just, I think if you click on edit, let me think. I believe you can do it. Just let me think a little bit. I believe it's in this settings here in classwork on stream. You can hide it, but that just hides the notification.
I think as far as I know, the only way you can do it is delete it and then come here and click show deleted items and you'll be able to see everything that you deleted.
Yeah, that's all I can think. I don't think you can hide it.
That's the only way I can think of it.
Yeah, I don't think you can hide it. Like, I feel like that's what you're trying to hide it and then like bring it back, but I don't think you can do that.
No, I think you can just delete it and then click show deleted items and it'll show you everything that you tried to delete.
Yeah.
Next question, does Google have more templates? And if so, where do I find them? For example,
great question. So many people don't use the templates. Like if you go to any, okay, so remember I said earlier that you always can go product.google.com. So if I go to like forms.google.com, it's going to take me to like the forms website. And this is where you can see all your forms, but then there's also template gallery. So you're going to click on template gallery and it like has pre-made templates and you just got to fill your stuff in. If you go to docs.google.com and you just go to the basic like Google Docs website, boom, template gallery right there. And I love the Docs template gallery because they have like essays, reports, they have newsletters, they have a recipe one, they have a resume one. Like their template gallery is on point. And like a lot of people don't even know it's there. It's just like under the primary like site. Like I believe if you go to if I go to slides.google.com and then there's flashcards. Look at that. I can go to the template gallery. Now for mine, if yours looks like this is like my school. But if I go to like my district, but if I go to general, that's where I'll see like the Google created ones. Ooh, I'm gonna use that flashcard one. That me likey. Okay. But yeah, any product you can go to the template and find, or if you go to Drive, like when you're on your Google Drive and you click on new. Usually if you started from here sometimes too, you can find like the templates. Like if you start from a template, see that? Like you can from a template. Did that answer your question? I hope so.
Do you have any interesting ideas to join Google Classroom and Google Sites?
To join? I mean, like to make people want to join it? Or to like get people to...
Sure about that question, but if Isabel wants to hop on the mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, from Portugal.
Hi.
Hi. I have my Google Classroom with classes, and I would like to create a Google site with more information about the subjects, about German, what I teach, so that students could always check the Google site made for the subject and do the homework on the Google Classroom tasks.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you're like Google Sites also has, I think I showed those templates, but if you're trying, like, if you're like just starting out, I would recommend to anybody, just make a Google site. It's very intuitive. It's very, very easy to make. And then they have a template gallery here. So like if you're doing a club, a student portfolio, and they kind of show you like where to put the text. And when you're on your Google site, you can publish like in the corner here. Once you publish, click publish. Like once you're really all the way done, you can add in like, it'll always have this HTTP sites.google.com, this, and then like Blake Basics or whatever you want it to be called. And then it'll be like live. I think I know in my job, we use Google Sites a lot. It's very easy. That's pretty much the main website creation tool that we use. I've been in presentations at conferences, and you know how I did this like quick link doc for you? Like I've been in presentations where they just made a Google site and it had everything on there. Like it's really, I don't know if I answered your question, but
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely use Google Sites, especially if you're a beginner. And I think, to plug Dr. Alexander, I think she had a presentation about that coming up, but I don't remember where.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I love Google Sites. I used to use Google Classroom, and you just have to worry about the join, and they have to join from their personal or blah, blah, blah. And it just is more locked down, which I understand because you're supposed to be using it with students, right? So then I started using Google Sites for everything, and it's really awesome.
And it's really easy. Like it's not hard to use. Like for my personal website, I use Wix, and it's like you kind of gotta. It's like a little more challenging. Whereas Google Sites is not intimidating, and it's like it's pretty. I think it's good for like anybody or a beginner. It's not so weird and like challenging to me.
I agree. I use Weebly, and you know, I still say Google Sites is the easiest website creator out there.
Yeah, it really is. The only reason you would, in my opinion, the only reason you would go to like a Wix or a Squarespace or like a Weebly, like Dr. Alexander said, is if you want like your own personal domain. And like, for instance, for my website is www.blakebasics.com. If you want your website to be like that, then that's kind of a perk. Whereas with Google Sites, I don't know if you can do that.
You can.
Oh, you can?
Absolutely can have your own.
See, learn something.
You're not on a school account. So if you're on a school account, because it belongs to the school, you cannot have your own domain. But if yeah, I've learned that because somebody asked me, I was like, where is it? Like you were doing earlier. I think it's because you were on a Chromebook. That setting wasn't there. But I was like, where is it? And then I went to my personal Google Sites. I was like, oh, that makes sense. It makes sense that you can't use a domain and then make your own domain. Like you already have a domain.
That makes sense.
So that's why if you're on a school account, you probably have never seen it. But if you go to a personal Google site, you can absolutely upload your own domain.
That's cool. That's great.
Yep, I agree.
Man, learn something every day.
Kate put something awesome in the chat as well, so definitely look at that. And I'm going to read it just for my people watching the video. You could link the Google site and maybe the specific page to the classroom assignment. I have also been using Wakelet to host all of the materials for specific assignments. You can definitely link. You can also link Google Classroom. You can link a specific assignment to your Google site. So there's all kinds of awesome things. Joy, thank you so much. This don't ever have to worry about, especially with something like this, going too fast or anything, because they can watch the video. So I mean, that's the thing. And this is not, you know, this is an update class, not a how-to class. So just the fact that you went and showed us how to is even more awesome. So thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, everyone.